Radiant team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Dire team ban. Radiant team ban. Ten seconds remaining. Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds.
I think so.
Remaining.
They haven't versed Liquid yet. That could be a tough opponent. They haven't versed Cloud9, of course. Yeah, we have ourselves, but they breezed their way through Group A, and that was meant to be the quote-unquote hard group. They were the coming in as like the mystery team who had to go up against Na'Vi, go up against Secret, and they didn't seem to have too many problems. They didn't have to meet Secret, actually. So, funnily enough, they haven't versed any of the teams in the playoffs yet.
Dire team pick.
Earth Spirit.
Dire team pick.
War Chief.
Radiant team pick.
Yeah, I think most of the Bears games so far, we have seen them run Venge. I think Adam played it at least 2 of their 4 games, and I think they ran it on Fata one game when they had the Firo
remaining.
SF. That was their opening game, so it has been a recurring pick, but again, it's like 4 games, it's Venge. It's not like Venge is one of those heroes where you think, oh, you got to ban it. Similar to why you often see the first pick Slaughters, it's not like hero you think, oh, you want to ban it. Typically it's the Embers, the Lone Druids, these more playmaky type heroes, the quote-unquote OP heroes that are getting banned out. But Cloud9 do take the approach where it's like, let's just ban those annoying stable heroes that get picked every game. So no Venge, no Slaughter. Yeah.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
I like that Bears just seem to have their own ideas of how to play Dota, and they're going to stick to it. They're not just going to follow the trends that everyone else is doing, and I think that's sometimes a downside to a lot of teams who are just like kind of copy pasting whatever the meta is a bit. Bears seem to completely just want to do their own style of Dota. And I think this is 2 picks that suit them very well. Yapsa's Earth Spirit has been absolutely incredible watching this guy play. The 4 position role is one of the most aggressive 4 position players out there, so look to him to really disrupt Cloud9 and set up a lot of the early game Bears
10
rotations.
Seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Yep, we've seen the 5-man Hester Joe Enigma complement the C9 team a few times. And that's saying Bears have to take away from the Cloud9 series yesterday. Bears, with this lone druid, will look to take those towers at an incredibly fast rate. 10 minutes in the game, 5 towers down. That was the rate they set yesterday. And that's something Bears are targeting with their bans for now. The Chen, the Enigma, those 5-man push-oriented utility support / offlaners, the mech buyers. They want to take them out of the picture.
5 seconds remaining.
Yep.
Reserve time. Dire team pick. Ten seconds remaining.
Yeah, definitely either approach can work, so we'll see what Bears have in mind. I feel like they haven't been up against a team like Cloud9, so it's kind of like I can't even say based on what we've seen which approach they're going to take. If anything, there was that opening series where they played from behind a lot, and they were quite happy to run a more kind of farming style. That was the Shadow Fiend game where they just played around Fear, played very defensively, so it would make me think they're more inclined to just play the efficiency farming game, go for the split push rather than fight directly into Cloud9, but so far the picks suggest a bit more kind of early game, a bit more aggression, but that's always going to be the case when you don't see the mid or the carry yet. So those cores will kind of dictate what Bears' idea to fighting the 5-man push is going to be. Yeah. Ooh.
Crystal
Yeah.
Maiden.
I like the idea of the Alchemist mid. The other hero, I think, perhaps maybe a bit more just well-rounded as the Shadow Fiend, something they've played before and is pretty stable, can fight early if you want to, especially around those high-impact rune, like you get an early Haste or an Invis as SF, you can suddenly make those rotations, but they don't get too much more info about Cloud9, just the casual Crystal Maiden comes up, something that Rise plays a lot of, and something that can be pretty good against the Stampede. You try and Stampede away, you get Frostbitten. I was about to say, I was just thinking, like, man, it's nice to have a game without Weaver or Slaughter, and then Bears go ahead and pick it. Hmm.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Seems very like a stable pick. It doesn't seem like a big explosive type hero that's going to be like a game changer. Like I feel like as it stands, it doesn't solve the problem of how do you stop the 5-man push all too well. Its split push is okay. So I feel like Bears are going to need a bit more oomph out of their mid lane.
Abyssal Underlord.
Yeah.
Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Yeah, I was seeing the DAC see the Enigma ban. I was like, if they were a 5-man push with a mech buyer, Underlord is the obvious pick left, because Tide's kind of out of the meta. But I was also like thinking, nah, I'm not going to say that. They're not going to pick Underlord. It's Hestejo and Cloud9 just don't really play this hero. But sure enough, they decided to pull it out. The other day when they played the Enigma 2 games in a row, he was tweeting that he'd never played Enigma before. So he obviously has the ability to just pick up heroes on a whim, it seems. And it's like that may be the case with this Underlord.
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
The alchemist you mentioned, if you still think you can alchemist, or I don't know if that's too greedy. Oh, tinker, there we go.
Radiant team pick.
But yeah, yeah, I don't know. SF, the alchemist approach potentially works.
Dire
Cloud9
team
have to reveal
pick.
their mid first, so they go into the OD. But I don't know. It doesn't feel like there's too many like problem heroes for the OD diverse left in the pool right now. I don't imagine he's going to get a really tough lane or anything.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Yeah, I'm on board with the OD as well, and see what Bears respond with. Definitely, to me, in my mind, like AOE wave clear, like deep push is like a necessity for this last pick. At least the ability to clear waves, because right now they have 0 like wave clear whatsoever. The only real like push out they have is like the Weaver Swarm, which more delays it, doesn't clear the wave. Their spirit spells don't really clear the wave all that well. You want to be saving them for the actual fight themselves. So, not sure. Tinker would have been great for that. Shadow Fiend's like maybe the next best option. Otherwise, yeah, you're looking at like alchemist type heroes and just playing for the super late game. Naga Siren is like a potential risky pick you could throw in, but I don't think a Naga can come online fast enough.
Invoker.
Voka. Okay. No. Yeah. Are you thinking the Exort Invoker for that scrappier style where you're just trying to farm up, or do you think you need the Quas Wex for the more early game potential?
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Just like the push and offer you a bit more early game potential against a line that's going to be trying to fight and take early towers. It seems like, yeah, they want to less try and fight into the 5-man and more just try and find pickoffs, get kills in the laning stage. He's already got the Sunstrike level 1, throwing that out for some early scouting, so at minimum he's going to probably see like an Alacrity potentially in the Quaswex, but I think more likely we do see the Exort. Yeah. See, yeah, Hesio, Pullman Shield, and Forev ready to contest lane. Forev's been very impressive in his offlane so far. He's been very disruptive. One of the offlanes who's like not just going to the jungle, he's putting as much pressure on the lane as possible constantly, and see if he can continue that here. I feel like he needs to be disruptive to this lone druid, but easier said than done, and a lot of that will probably depend on what Yapsol can do as well, roaming around on the Earth Spirit. Oh, whoops. Yeah, I do. I thought I was going to remind you, and then I got distracted. Discord wasn't working, and then, yeah.
Guts and I have to remind each other every because we both, play Dota after we're done, so we always turn off our open mic. Every morning we've been reminding each other about it.
Yep, I always forget to turn it off when I go into my first pub game. Then my whole team starts yelling at me like during the picking stage, like what's going on with the mic and stuff. But
yeah.
This looks like the pseudo early game solution to Ace on the Lone Druid. It's gonna be Yapsor doing these little side pulls. I like this approach. It's gonna shore up the Centaur, getting some levels in farm, and C9 supports are looking to play a bit greedier. Oh well, Noya's gonna be helping mid, but CM it looks like will just be straight up jungling, getting the fast level 2.
You're already attempting to throw out Sun Strikes just to get CS because this lane is so hard for him to be ignited and imprisoned, or actually early bloodlust for him.
Unfortunately, no range creep for Yapsor means he didn't get the initial side pull off, but he found another side pull to go for.
That'll be nice. Not quite as good as the other pull. Ace will still be able to grab some experience and probably grab some CS, but it does at least pull the lane back for Red either way.
Yeah, Yapsor's kind of poking around here. I think this is where Ace is like, okay, if there's 2 heroes down here, he's actually not going to be able to farm or really stay in this lane all too well. Hasn't skilled anything at level 2, and yeah, there we go. I was thinking he probably needs to go Savage Raw level 2 just in case he gets rolled on. And is probably letting his team know like he's going to need some help and rotations down there fairly soon. Earth Spirit lingers around. This is a pretty good kill combination between the Centaur and the Earth Spirit.
I feel like the kill combination, though, isn't really going to happen until you're level 3, and then it's a very small window. Because I think you need the roll-in, and you need to be able to hit the silence as you roll in, otherwise you get roared, and you don't get the disables necessary for a Centaur to be able to close that gap.
Yeah, it looks like Yapsor's just trying to roll in, harass more than anything, so not really going for the kills, just going for the casual chip on the Ace, trying to get him to chew through his regen, but as long as Ace can hold his own and continue to farm, he's probably just going to happily take the 1v1. Forever's trying to get up in his face with the early point in the return, but the Lone Druid himself seems to be matching up pretty decently against this.
Mr. Joe, meanwhile, as the offlaner against a Dazzle, and Weaver's doing pretty well for himself. He's burned through some of his regen. You can see Bears are trying to put as much pressure on him as possible. But honestly, Underlord's just a tough hero to crack with that Atrophy aura and the PMS.
Gets gone on, he throws some fire, turns around, gets dazzled down to half HP. His life as an Underlord. So, right now it looks like Cloud9's laning stage coming out very positive. The Firo Invoker only has 4 CS against the OD Ogre. Somewhat expected result. Maybe you'd think perhaps a couple more CS here or there for Firo, but it's the Exo Invoker. You can't really come near the lane, and anytime it's on the other side of the river, you just can't contest this CS because of the Ogre. And it seems Yapsor has just dedicated his time down to the bottom lane, deciding he can't really do enough to help mid lane to justify his presence.
Ooh, the Sunstrike's coming in. Maybe it's the first kill on top of Ace, but there goes the Savage Roar. That's the problem.
Okay.
The stun just doesn't last long enough, even with Forev managing to actually get close enough to hit a stomp in the first place. Ace survives through all of that, and Rise just remains unconcerned about the bottom lane. He just continues to jungle and get that extra efficiency.
This is level 4 already. This is a full-on jungle Crystal Maiden, and Ace surviving that while he's still at the salve means a lot of wasted time. Yapsor's presence in his bottom lane, and even the Invoker's game, getting like a Sunstrike kill there would have really salvaged things for Firo. Fortunately, he just could not quite do it.
Firo's having a rough time.
Yeah, I see you drawing out his CS. Yep. It's not fun for him.
Hester Joe going to be gone on once again here. They will couple up here to be able to get a nice double heal bomb onto Hester Joe. Adam doing some good blocking, trying to set this up for a potential dive. They feel like it's good enough. They'll dive the tower into Hester Joe. The last shot is not going to be enough. My God. I thought for sure Underlord was dead, but the tanky beast survives through all of that, and they have a shrine to be able to use as well.
Good. Yeah, he saved the stick charges until Fata was fully committed at the last second, and luckily for Fata, Rise up in mana. He had been using it all through jungle. If he had Frostbite, he was on like 80 mana. That's a dead Weaver, so very close to turning it around for C9. Not quite able to do so. Fata and Firo are going to shrine up together, and looks like they're going to farm some Ancients. This is...
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
The trees tries to kick Noya out of this dead end, but Noya returns right back to block Yapsor in against the bear. It'll be Ace picking up the first blow.
Yeah. At this point, all 3 lanes going very well. 2 lanes being won by C9. The offlane realistically is going almost more or less being won in some ways by Hestejo, even though he's not out farming the Weaver by any means. He's survived against it. He's gotten level 5. And then the CF is jungling. So this is like the best possible early game you could hope for if you're C9.
They've dealt with bad laning phases before, right? We mentioned that game where they had SF and they were able to play around Firo the whole entire game, just play super conservatively. But C9 are not going to give you the same kind of opportunities, not with this lineup. They have so much pushing power that I don't think the game's going to last long for Bears to be able to turtle up and sit behind
Dire's bottom
Hero
tower is
Invoker
under
and let
attack.
him arm away. So Bears need to be able to come up with a game plan as we start exiting the laning phase and we start seeing more movement around the map. But for now, everyone's playing a bit of a farm game for Bears.
Yep. Yeah, C9 haven't upped the pressure yet to start really going for the towers, partly because Ace didn't have that free empty lane where he farmed away and could punish by going for an early tier 1, but even so, though, that tower push could theoretically come fairly soon. Another level for Neuer will get him level 3 Bloodlust, and any kill around bottom lane. Ryze is looking for one, could lead to this tier 1 going down.
Comes in with his invis. A spot for Ev here. Fred's pretty far back, but he is going to start to go. There goes the Centaur ultimate, immediately followed up by the Frostbite. Good combination, but unfortunately a stun comes in from Yapzor, and that clips the Ogre, preventing the combo stun.
Yep, couldn't get the Baron for the entangle, and Forav will survive. Very tanky hero to go on, as the 1100 HP, and has the casual cloak now. Killing him not exactly easy, but you put Stampede on cooldown, and does mean C9 can potentially try and go for a kind of subsequent fight where they look for a tower perhaps, or like a kill into a tower. Hestejo's forced back to base after jungling a bit. He's level 7. He may even rotate down to join this push of C9.
Instant snare on Forev, get some chip damage on him. That'll make the push, if it does come from C9, a bit easier. Meanwhile, Bears did kind of posture themselves near mid lane, but without the Stampede, they didn't really have the gap closer necessary to punish Baby Knight. He offensively Astral imprisoned, and that's another problem here for Bears, is that we have not just a sort of free farming lone druid, thanks to the First Blood, but also a free farming OD who's sitting at 54 and 26.
Yikes. And that's where C9, we saw a bit yesterday, we were just trying to 5-man, like maybe overly do it, where they just ended up a bit leveled. They also just got to this point where they'd taken all the other towers, but they hadn't got the farm and items to really break the high ground yet, so it feels like they're happy to go at a slower pace, focus more on getting all their items first. They're not going to force any kind of play just yet, and I kind of like this a bit better, where they know and recognize they're winning their lanes. They don't have to take towers when they're out farming their opponents in almost all 3 lanes, so they'll just put Ryze back in the jungle. He's level 6 already, and everything is going pretty peachy for the C9 team.
Is under attack.
Certainly is. Hero and Fada trying to make the best of jungling when they can. This is going to be their best time. Pressure is going to amp up eventually. C9's 2 supports have now rotated bottom. Dazzle's here to just try and push out the lane, see if he can get his level 6, which would really help to stop pushes, but it looks like he's going to be caught in the process. They did have a laning ward. They saw Adam head into those trees. He tries to get a Stampede save from the Centaur, not going to be good enough. That Stampede does also allow Fodder to go on Hestejo, but a TP out. Oh, the Shikuchi at the end. Barely in front of the TP, does manage to give him the killing blow.
Nice kill up top. That really helps out Far to push it up for him to take the tier 1 at top as a trade. He's throwing the swarm out, so he wants to find that tier 1 for tier 1 trade. Knowing that C9 and pressuring bottom, he's going to pressure top.
Dire's structures are fortified.
Rev and Adam, don't think you can do much to stop this bear from right-clicking on the tower. Noe is making sure of it too. Gets a stun in. Oh god, I didn't even think about this one, but you can use Dark Rift on the bear too.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
That's kind of nasty, especially since you know, if you think about it, right? The 5-manning that we've seen from Cloud9, the way they rapidly take objectives, it seems like Underlord would fit perfectly into their lineup, the way they like to play, because then you're not even punished for 5-manning as much. Dark Rift.
Yeah, there's a lot of teams who have just like sort of with Alliance, they just split push and bought time by pressuring other sides of the map. But yeah, Underlord stops that so well, and we'll see how the outcome works from here. Maybe a more recurring pick for them if they decide it's a good approach to the game. Radiant Scan sees the smoked up, well, it doesn't see them smoked up, but sees heroes in that area, and it looks like Ace is well aware that this bottom lane is not a safe place to be. We're gonna let his team know that, well, he is walking through the jungle still. Just make sure he doesn't get caught around here.
Mid lane warn being placed by Adam. TP's back to the tier 2 because he knows time is of the essence. He needs to be in position right now. The kick back there from Yapzor, but here comes the Stampede. A 4-staff away. Baby Knight gets some distance. A Stampede, a hit. Hoof Stomp only hits the bear there, and Noya is out of range. Vada is going to be sent to the astral plane underneath this Pit of Malice. Looks like Bears are not going to be able to find a kill out of that, and they really did need it. They needed some sort of pickoff there to be able to stop the push, because C9 probably just going to keep going.
Yeah, just having that early 4-staff got Baby Knight out of danger. The Stampede couldn't land on him, and without that Stampede hitting, it's really hard for Invoker to hit the Sunstrike and the Meatball combo. He's gone full Wex Exort.
Roll in.
Now going to still try and engage.
Noya's been hit, slowed down. The Hoof Stomp will land this time around with the Sunstrike and the extra nuke damage. Forev, it will find that pickup. That being said, Ace was not there. Ace, he maybe because he expected all of Bears to be defending, he was trying to actually just play some jungle time. But as a result of 4 versus 4 in the mid lane does allow Bears a pickoff.
Yeah, not the biggest kill to get, but it's still good defense, because it looked like C9 were going to still try and force that tower even without the lone druid. So defending the tower and punishing the fact that Ace wasn't there, getting the kill, and buying yourself some more time, getting Forev closer and closer to his Blink Dagger. He is the most farmed Bears core right now.
He is super farmed. He's got a Hood of Defiance and 1,500 gold. This is very good timing, and it probably means he'll have the Blink Dagger before the next mid lane push. And maybe not before Ace takes the top tower. We'll see how Bears respond to this double pressure that they're receiving.
Attack.
Baby Knight on one end,
Dire's
Ace on the
middle
other.
tower is under attack.
The mid tower is still fairly healthy, so top is probably the lane to just give up at this point and try and initiate on mid if possible. You see the bear up top. Potential opening for you to go in, but for now Forev is just creep skipping down bottom. He's doing what he can to be annoying and get farm towards his Blink. Yeah, Ace will get the tower. SJ will defend bottom, but this is a potential opening. Bears know that Cloud9 are currently very split up around the map.
DAC is coming in pretty fast. I think that's when C9 finally do push down that mid lane. But that will also come in around the time that Forev has his Blink Dagger. So it looks like we're probably going to see a clash in the mid lane between the sustain of C9 and their 5-man pushing power and the initiation opportunity that will finally be available for Forev. Because honestly, run again and stampeding just isn't good enough. Not against that lone druid, especially when he has the bear in front. The Savage Roar can just turn the haste against
See how Baby Knight can do. He's, to me, is the big player as far as stopping that initiation. If anyone other than him gets initiated, there's a potential Astral Imprisonment save, because they're trying to burst down whoever they go on. Ideally, they want to go on Baby Knight himself, and then the only real counter initiation they have to worry about is something like a Savage Roar. But Invoker could just throw all of his spells from good range. He's gone very heavy Exalt Wex. He's going to have the Chaos Meteor. He's going to have the Sunstrike, and Baby Knight, if he gets hit by that Hoof Stomp, could be burst down quickly. He's trying to tank up. Has the pike, so maybe a bit harder. We'll find out.
Baby Knight gets caught. He still has that 4-staff, but it looks like the damage is going to come too fast. Too many stuns, and a Sunstrike finishes them off. Bears first reveal of the Blink. Huge success. As he said, Baby Knight, a very key component of the C9 lineup. He was working towards a Blink Dagger after that 4-staff, but been delayed.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough game for him. Ace at top is being harassed by Fast. Does have the Savage Roar.
Fada, Sunstrike. Ace is not going to be hit by that one. Fada does not have time-lapse anymore. He actually pops a wand. Will have enough now, but he's actually going to stick around until the Stomp comes in from Forev, so maybe they can at least get a kill on Noya instead, but he's a tanky support, and Rise, he now comes in with a Frostbite. TP's in, has to Joe with a 3-man Pit of Malice, follow up Firestorm, TP out from Forev, but he gets frostbitten. That will delay the highest net worth hero on Bears from escaping. Pick up that kill. Big one for C9. Oh, and plus one.
This Astral Atom, no escape for him. That could potentially open up space for Ace to take mid. They made press down top. Looking pretty formidable with their 5-man push even still. And with Centaur dead, they're not worried about that initiation. There's not really any counterplay for Bears. I say that as Yapso could line up an initiation cloak where maybe he's the one who sets up a Sunstrike, but still very difficult to do so without Centaur.
Yeah, I have to say, the more I see this, the more I really like Invoker's choice to go for the Exort, this mass burst damage, particularly the Sunstrike when the initiation comes, but also it's going to be when these pushes come in into Meteor. I feel like they needed that sort of overwhelming damage to deal with C9, because they've got tanky heroes and with the sustain of Mech as well. Here comes Hesta Joe, is going to receive a 4-step, nicely played out by Baby Knight. Managed to outplay that one, jump in, hit 2-man hoof stomp there on the side. Stampede slowing them all down as well. Here comes the Meteor, but Hesta Joe's already dead. Bot in the back lines almost died, but he does manage to get a shallow grave and will also time-lapse off half the damage. Firo's now going to be chased down. Oh, here comes the damage. Firo gets caught in the entangle. Tower's going to fall. Airs. The rest of them will get out. Looks like they traded that just a 2-for-1. They only got Hesta Joe.
Yeah, good defensive play, nice use of the Force Staff, the defensive Astral, and Baby Knight turns that one around with a big Sanity's Eclipse.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
That's going to be not... Oh yeah, probably just the Tier 1 tower. They are still lingering around this Tier 2 for now. 20 seconds on the Invoker. Without the Invoker, they don't have the best follow-up for the center initiation, so it looks like C9, if they can punish and get a Tier 2 tower as well because of that, but... Glyph coming out may spell retreat for C9 with the Invoker soon to respawn.
Fortunately for Bears, Radiant structure is actually fortified. Looks like the push by Fada at the bottom lane. C9 do seem to be not just putting a lot of pressure on Bears and keeping pushing down a bunch of towers, but they're also making sure their outer towers aren't being threatened too much by Fada. He claimed the top lane tower, but I think Ace denied it. Not 100% sure about that one, but you can see as soon as the pressure comes in at bottom lane as well, they glyph up and he TP rotate.
Well, smoke from C9 now. They're ready to go. Play around Ace. Put him in a position where he can be perhaps on the front lines. It's tough because OD doesn't really want to be too far forward. He ideally wants his teammates getting jumped so he can Astral them, and oh, they swap Forev.
Spirit Bear bait, but do have a nice silence coming out from Yapsor. Forev tries to get away with the Stampede, but unfortunately, Rise was on the side. He wasn't hit by that silence. Does manage to get the Frostbite. Oh, Fada almost goes down. The time lapse, though, just in time. They're still chasing Firo. Managed to slow him down, but it looks like he's far enough away. He'll be good. The loss of their Centaur means, as well as Adam, that TP's not going to make it. Loss of their Initiator and their Sustain means that C9 can freely push down a Tier 2. Go there. It seems like all the Tier 2s are going to be dropping soon.
Yeah, it's a full-on snowball from the 5-man push of C9. Feels like every one of their games they're so good at taking these early objectives, so good at finding the right lineups that allow them to just push down early towers, and it's going to come down to the Bears' ability to transition to the late game. The max Wex for Fear has worked out really well. It's great for his farming efficiency, just being able to be on the Wex for moving around between camps. We saw it there actually help save his life with the extra movement speed, so he is slowly but surely catching up in terms of his farm with his Midas and close to completing an Aghanim Scepter, but he really wants this game to go like 25, 30 plus minutes because he needs to get like into that level 20 Invoker stage of the game.
This is just unfair. Look at Ace's movement speed. You know, I was trying to point at the Helmet Dominator.
550, oh my god.
Yeah, he's been sitting with this Kobold Foreman, which has been great, right? Because the Lone Druid itself moves super fast, but also his Spirit Bear can then run down heroes a lot easier. But you give him the Bloodlust, he's actually at 550 all the time.
He is perma-hasted, okay.
Stampede doesn't do shit.
Huh.
Bears try and close that gap, and Ace is like, I could do that. Do that every day.
That is incredible. Yeah, and then if you're trying to stand on top, he's got Savage Draw too. They're going to catch that.
Nice initiation. They can get the silence follow-up. Baby Knight will be dropped here. That is the kind of pickoffs that Bears need here. Because after that mid lane engagement where they tried to fight over the mid-tier 1 tower, they lost that. We knew it was going to be C9 just trampling over everything else. That was the one fight to determine whether or not they could stop C9 before they went for these pushes. So now Bears have to play the pickoff game.
Yeah, that's a good kill. Any core hero going down can dent in this constant push that's coming out from C9 squad, and they can get another kill here mid lane. The pickup game continues. Hero getting the last hit with the Sunstrike. This is where C9 have to be careful not to let their leads slip away and not to give up too many of these pickoffs. They really need to be sticking together as much as possible. Vision game becomes very important. Like plays like that where Baby Knight was rotating towards that bottom room are fine if you know you have full vision around the area and your opponents don't, but he was walking right through a dire observer ward.
Yeah, these Sunstrike kills are pretty big. Stun Silent on to Rise with the Sunstrike. Oh, good save there from Baby Nate. Right as Forev came in, he's going to try and activate the Shrine and survive through that. The Shrine will keep him alive for now, but C9, they do have that movement speed. There goes the Stampede. Everyone will get out. C9, having chased away the Bears, will try and push down this tier 2 tower, and they're probably going to get it too. The most Bears can do is split push now, with Fada having the Desolator and Hero as well. Oh, actually doesn't have the any talents level. I was going to say he has the +2, the +1 Forge Spirit, so he can split push. But he's just all out on trying to get to that AoE.
It's interesting to know. Normally you'd see I see a lot of invokers skip the level 20 talent because you're better off leveling up your skills, and sometimes the level 10 one, but the level 15 Forward Spirit's pretty nice normally, but he's just farming him. He's using the media to farm the top lane there, so not really using those Forward Spirits for the time being.
Yeah, I'm not exactly an Invoker player here, Gods. Maybe you are, but this does... No. He's not maxing out Exort and Wex completely. That means he really wants to get the 22 Ags upgrade. Oh, no. Yeah. Never mind. No, that's a talent now.
Oh, no, yeah.
I mean.
No, don't worry.
So why isn't he doing that?
I guess he just decides that's enough damage, you know. It's like, let's go back for some claws.
Middle tower is under
some of the spells I guess he's looking to be using in the next couple of fights, be it like some stuff like the Ice Wall, the Cold Snap maybe wants to be a bit more potent, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not a big Invoker player. I just from seeing what other Invokers are doing with some of the talents, and I see them skipping your talents a lot. It seems like a recurring theme, but this is the first time I've seen this Invoker build where it's super heavy Exalt Wex early game and then completely skipping all your talents.
Sunstrike after Sunstrike is being thrown into the pit. He'll see C9 doing Roshan, yes, but can they actually do anything to stop it?
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Who has most of their heroes. They're going to TP in. It looks like they are going to try and put a stop to C9 Roshing, and C9 will oblige for now. Roshan wanders out of the pit. About 3k HP. We're going to need a beautiful initiation from Bears to be able to win this fight.
How low Roche is, both teams will be very tempted to go for that one. Bears scout that Roche not being currently done, but because of that Sunstrike, C9 can actually go back in. They know there's no Sunstrike now, and this Dire Ward does not see these heroes, so good smoke usage to get back into the pit. Forward Spirit will scout this one a little bit too late.
Oh, but they jump in! Oh my god, the agent's still in the dead. Forev managed to grab it. Now here comes the Meteor with the deafening blast. Ace and Hesta Joe almost get blown up. There is a save from Baby Knight. Ace is going to come back soon. Forev is still in the pit. Can anyone threaten Ace? He's in the back line. Firo and Fada just charge in, manage to finish him off. Noya's also going to go down, and Baby Knight, he needs to get out of here. He can't save anybody anymore. He does get the Hurricane Pike over the cliff. Links back, saves himself. Forev is here, but doesn't look like he's going to be able to catch Baby Knight. What a win. How did Bears manage to make the read on that?
They were so close to making that work, Cloud9, with their smoke in. Bears scouted out with the Forward Spirit, and the Forward Spirit is in the pit right as Roche is about to die. So they had like a split second to react with that combo, and they're going to find another kill now with the Sunstrike. Suddenly, this game gets swung right back into Bears' favor with that Roche fight. They get multiple big key kills. They stop down the the Cloud9 5-man death ball. They've still got a tier 2 tower and their shrines up, which means they're still in a pretty strong position, able to maintain map control, and suddenly C9 don't really have the ability to easily take that last outer tower. They're not feeling quite as strong after losing that fight and giving away the amount of farm that just did. Bears are suddenly in a really good position.
Man, that was... that time it was something else, man. The fact that they were like, yeah, we're going to throw a Forge Spirit in. Even though we have vision, we saw inside the pit. Maybe they did smoke up inside the Roshan pit. And Cloud9, I thought that was such a clever play. I was like, God damn, Cloud9, you deserve this Roshan. But Bears somehow, some way, just get the perfect timing to get the Forge Spirit in. Initiation out. Now, C9, they're still going to try and stick together. But the split push is becoming more and more formidable by Bears. Bada already had his Desolator. Now he's got a Diffuser Blade and is working towards BKB. Our Invoker now has Max Exort. It's a Blink Dagger and Boots of Travel as well.
Yeah, this Invoker is close to his full potential now.
This'll come in handy.
19, almost maxed out all of his elements, and C9 have to be considered BKBs. Baby Knight's 500 gold away from one if that's going to be the pickup for him. And Druid potentially going to need one later on as well. Between the Invoker, the Centaur, the Earth Spirit, there's plenty of reasons to need to get one this game. I've got a pipe on the Underlord, which will help a little bit. But whether or not that's going to be enough in itself, I somewhat doubt.
You could already see the beginning of the decline for C9 even before that team fight because of some of the pickoffs that were happening. Also because the better farm efficiency that Bears would naturally have when Cloud9 are 5-manning. The more split push items they got, the more stronger their 2 cores in Weaver and Invoker got, the more they were able to pick up gold and experience out of map. And then after that team fight, it's dropped down rather dramatically, about 2,500 gold lead only for Cloud9 and a huge experience lead for Bears.
Yeah, that experience is where it really matters for some of these heroes, and Bears are not done.
The initiation, here comes the Meteor. It's not going to save Hester Joe. Baby Knight chooses to save Ace, the big damage dealer. Hester Joe is tanky enough. He's down to half health. It looks like Bada can actually finish him off with a Desolator. Bada's stuck underneath the Pit of Malice. He will receive an early Shallow Grave just in case. Rev runs in, tries to get Baby Knight, hits him with a bit of a threat there with the nuke. Slows him down, but Baby Knight now turns, manages to throw out the ultimate, finishing off the Centaur. Oh, Bada, he gets a nice Savage Roar, perfectly timed by Ace to prevent the time lapse. And a Shukuchi away. Bears now left with only 3, and Cloud9, they're not done just yet. They still want to take this tier 2 tower.
Yapzor?
Bears are going to have to give it to him unless Yapzor has some godly plays. Looks like they're just going to get extra kills from this. Bada, he is dead.
Free int for the OD while you're graved up.
Oh, yeah.
One of those scenarios where you probably actually don't want to grave yourself. Suddenly there's 60 stolen in on Baby Knight. He doesn't have Sandy's Eclipse at least to go with this one. Bears ready to fight again. Furious healed himself back up, maybe considering catching a straggler.
Oh, the kick a little bit off the mark there. Doesn't hit the stun or the silence on Ace. Hard to judge exactly how long that tornado's going to last.
Sunstrike also slightly off the mark. Yeah, that was very close to getting that combo. Even slightly threw the meatball a bit too early. It rolled through him while he was still in the tornado, so slightly off. Otherwise, Fear actually can get that kill. The Sunstrike lands, he definitely gets it, but without the Sunstrike, still would have been a close attempt. But nice aggressive play, definitely showing some confidence from the Bears side. Even when there were just 2 men against 3, they were happy to go for the kills and try and make those plays happen. But ultimately, they will have to wait till they can regroup and reset things a bit here. BKBs will be involved in the next team fight, though. ODs we saw once already, but the Lone Druid's gonna potentially have one as well. He's got the money for it. He's got it queued up on his quick buy, so we'll see if he commits to that one or considers any other options.
No, Gods, I don't know if you felt this way, but before that push, I was thinking to myself, C9, after that disastrous Roshan fight, they have to make this push work. If Bears successfully get a team fight around that tier 2, defend and push back C9, then C9 are just going to, they're not going to be able to finish that tier 2, not going to be able to take the shrines, and they're just going to kind of dwindle out. But then I realized, what the hell am I talking about? There's a Lone Druid and an OD on this team. They still scale really well into late game, and Bears, they've got to be concerned about that part of the game as well. well. They finally managed to deal somewhat with the pushing power. They repelled them there, but can they actually beat C9 in a late game engagement?
Yeah, because that fight started, like, it looked like pretty badly for Cloud9, then suddenly Ace and Baby Knight being ignored just kept right-clicking away, and you're like, alright, you're right, they do have these two heroes cap. These heroes already are looking like pretty scary beasts in these fights, and will only continue to get more problematic for Bears as they get another couple of items. Odie's currently just got 3 real more defensive items. Once he puts in a Hex or a Shivers, gets some more in.
Hero run!
Hero.
Nice
what a
tornado. Holy cow. It catches Baby Knight as well as he blinks over to the side.
Yeah, a bit of misfortune there for Baby Knight with his blink time. Like, he got hit by it as he blinked in, but
Radiant's middle tower is
so
under attack.
really good escape from Firo. Bears are trying to punish with some split push, but here comes the Dark Rift.
That's the first time we've seen the Dark Rift being used. Make sure that C9 don't get punished with their 5-man. Stun comes out, BKB activated here. He's going to defuse a blade up. Baby Knight's forced to use the BKB of his own. Bada shoving back C9.
Radiant's top tower is under
But
attack.
nothing is going to be really accomplished.
Very cautious play from Baby Knight. DK being out of the Purge. Did have a defensive Astral, but that could potentially set up like a Centaur stun or an Invoker combo, so plays it safe, knows that they just need to disengage, but as a result, teams Cloud9 don't want to defend their mid tier 2 and will give that one up, so they're just one outer tower away from losing their own shrines. For now, they've taken one of the enemy shrines, and we'll be eyeballing that second one, given that Roshan is coming up in the next 3 minutes.
Level 21 on the Invoker now has all of the various balls maxed out. Start working on the balance.
Can you skip and go straight to the level 20 talent then and not get the 10 or 15 one? So you have to build up from the bottom, okay. Yeah.
Unfortunately, he won't be able to just go straight for, say, in this instance, maybe one Forge Spirits mat, you know, level 1 or something. Believe me, gods, I wanted to before. There's some pretty garbage talents out there.
Yeah, there's some level 10 talents where I get there, I'm just like, skip, I'm getting my point in my basic skill or something instead, and yeah.
In WESG, Marlene and Fog and I were complaining, we're talking about talents and what are the worst talents, and up there on the list we complained about him a lot was the level 15 talent from Nyx Assassin. Oh, jump, initiation, stun, misses out on the hoof stomp, doesn't hit the boulder, but there is the save from Baby Knight. Force snap away from Forev, not allowing that Stampede to connect. Now Yapsor comes in, managed to hit his ultimate onto a couple, but the BKB activated by Baby Knight allows him to turn and fight. Now they're going to pop the Dark Rift. Baby Knight's dropping lower and lower. They might be able to get this kill before. Oh, the Dark Rift, it doesn't save him. They can't get out. Now Ace is actually left completely alone here. He's going to turn and fight and kill Adam, but is not going to be making out alive. He's too separated from his team, and they will bring him down. There's a big win for them. 2 cores.
Tough fight. The Beetle on OD just wrecked him. It was one of those. I've been in that scenario too, where it's like you got that Beetle on you, you know you've got to kill it, and it's so hard to click when it's on your body. Clicking Swarm Beetles can be one of the most frustrating things in the game, and he got it down to 1 hit, then stopped attacking it, and then Weaver was just hitting him where he would theoretically have been in fog in that tree spot there. Bata would not have had great vision of an OD who could have been juking him out, but dead. That Beetle lowering his armor, keeping vision of him, and got both carries of C9 in the process, and Bears are looking pretty scary here. Roche is actually going to respawn here. Epsa will scout it out. OD is back alive though for this one, so I don't imagine they'll be charging their way in there necessarily right away. If anything, C9 should be coming to contest this one, but Bears are going to take a chance on this.
Doing it pretty quickly thanks to that Swarm Beetle on Roshan and the Desolator. C9, they're coming in fast with the bear. Roshan's down to 1500 HP. The Tornado's going to be able to prevent a lot of this, and they do have beautiful line damage. The stun out from Yapsor. Double silence onto 2. Joe and Ace in trouble. Baby Knight needs to save Ace, but they do get the Hurricane Pike onto the cliff. They've managed to finish up Roshan as well, and now Fod is ready to go with the Aegis. He just straight in, facing up against Baby Knight. Will try and pop his BKB and finish off Ace. Now the jump in gets the stun onto Rise as well. That'll shot Baby Knight. Cloud9, it's just all over for them in this engagement. Joe tries to TP out, does manage to make it out, but that's going to be buyback time for maybe the OD. Looks like the Lone Druid with his low death timer can wait.
Yeah, that was the perfect lineup possible. Coming down that ramp with Tornado, Earth Spirit, Suns, everything.
C9, you gotta respect this. Your Lone Druid is not yet back up. They did not want to have to buy back on the OD until the Lone Druid is up. So Joe giving the Bears the free pickoff here before the push actually fully comes out. They are going to be able to take that melee racks. Tornado, EMP, making its way in. Stomp, actually going to miss out there. The Tornado lasting a bit too long. Silence from Yapster, tries to roll himself away. Hit by the Pit of Malice. Saved by the Shallow Grave. He may still be able to get out of here, but Forev, as well as being chased down by Joe, and Ignite comes out. Firo blinks back. Adam's going to be target of Joe and Noya instead, while Fada was battling it up with, of course, completely out of mana now. Needs the extra help. Has the BKB. Is going to try and run himself away, but the physical damage of Baby Knight, 4 HP. He finally does fall. Now when he comes back, he won't have a BKB. Pit of Malice laid in preemptively. Fada is... There's no chance. No hope for a time lapse or anything like that.
At least get the big Weaver kill and an Aegis on the rebuttal there, but still puts Cloud9 in a tough spot. They take their melee racks, and as a result, C9 thinking they can push back the other way. Force out that Weaver buyback at a minimum is probably what's on their mind, but Bears have a scary initiation. They can start and get an opening kill without even having their Weaver there. C9 thinking aggressively.
Stunned up, hit by the Tornado, EMP plus Sunstrike. It's a good force to though. Save him a lot of that damage. Hero throwing out the deafening blast. They're hoping to be able to push back Cloud9 and not have to use their buyback on Fada. Oh, a nice stun! A 3-man hoof stomp onto the Spirit Bearer as well. They're going to be able to control these heroes now. The Stampede's closing down. The Dark Prince is coming in, but it's not going to save Noya. A Force Staff, another one. They try and push these heroes away, and it looks like it may have disjointed enough that Rise could not make it into the Dark Rift out.
Yeah, I don't think he's rating that Uber driver 5 stars. He has left a couple teammates behind. Ace is still running the hell away. Luckily, he's got all this movement speed to get out of there. Rise also missed out on the ride. But
TP in. Whoa, Ace! He TP'd onto a shrine, but Fada and Firo were already here trying to cut him off in the first place, so they just stumble into a TP and a free kill there. Ace not afford a pick off like that. He's down for 35 seconds, and Bears are already on top of your tier 2.
That's an odd, like a very awkward amount of time because they're going to be on your high ground before you respawn. Even with this minus 50 seconds, there's this very small window still when you're Lone Druid where if you get picked off, you have a very short respawn time, but it's like not quite short enough if your opponents want to break high ground. We saw that mid lane where the melee Rax was down by the time the Lone Druid respawn. They don't press the issue up top. They want to reset and heal up, pick up their next level of items. The Lincoln Sphere is coming out on Fear's Invoker, but still very tough position for C9 to be playing from right now. Having to use their buybacks for those fights as well. They did force out a Weaver buyback. That's the good news for them. If they can catch Fata, that's where they can look to take back a lane of racks themselves.
Maybe even close out the game, honestly, with how quickly Cloud9 can push thanks to the double Bears. Ace has a Scotty. Is it any other big upgrades that we haven't talked about just yet? Crystallis in the backpack for Fada.
I think 2 major, it looks like. The Invokers, yeah, the Lincolns mentioned. The Centaur's had his Axe for some time, is going back for a late game Blade Mail. Now that he's got all this HP and stats, it gets more powerful.
Bottom tower has fallen.
Also just good with Lone Druids pelting away on you. You can just at least pop it and stop him from hitting you, so doesn't look like anything crazy in terms of item upgrades for either team too recently.
What about the level 25 talent for Centaur?
What are we looking
most
at
of the
here?
time I say return or up, but with the way that controlling heroes is so important, maybe the +1 second on Hoof Stomp is...
Yeah.
Here comes the initiation. Fada speeding ahead with his Shikuchi. Level 25 talent. Joe is going to be the pick-off here. Nobody else is going to get caught, though, on the side of Cloud9.
Has no buyback as well. Potentially they'll be going for the shrines instead. I really like the returner, I think, still. Just We'll see what he gets, but they've got good follow-up for his stuns with the boulder smash, so we're seeing the fights often his hoof stomp will just lead into a boulder smash, so I don't think he necessarily has to have the extra second of stun, but I can definitely see either being good. Just because you're against the lone druid and the OD, he's right-clicking away. Return Aura just seems very, very useful still.
Comes to push to bottom lane. Firo was keeping top. A little bit pushed out. TP's in now to the bottom lane to join his team for the 5-man push. Tier 3 tower already down to half HP. Forev's going to be here, but some helpful heals and 4 stats will get him off of that high ground.
And without Underlord, we'll take a bit of damage on the tier 3 before Bears back off, but Bears have eyes on the Shrine, and C9 need to be thinking about their endgame here. What can they get to contest this super late game? Lone Druid's going to have his level 25, which doesn't make him any really scary of a carry. Does give him a bit of protection with that lower cooldown on the Savage Roar, presumably. But across the board, itemization for heroes like the OD and Lone Druid needs to kind of reach its peak fairly soon, because Bears are constantly applying pressure.
Yeah, you know, the one hero I feel like has really fallen behind for Cloud9 is the OD. He doesn't have the Shiva's yet, nor the later game Sight the Vice if he wanted that item. Those sort of pickups are necessary for 40 minutes in the game for OD to really have that heavy impact. Situations like that where you need that heavy lockdown, you need to just be able to beat on a hero. Firo with the Lincolns is able to self back away from Baby Knight's initiation.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, the buyback really hurt him, and just the last couple of fights not going all too well for C9 means Baby Knight is where he is and isn't able to have quite the impact he'd perhaps hoped for in some of these fights. But Bears still not going to force a high ground push or any sort. They don't want to give Cloud9 the high ground defender's advantage. That's where this Lone Druid and OD can really shine. And with the current advantage of theirs in terms of items farm and map control, they're going to be more likely than not waiting out this next Roshan.
It seems for the best, right? You also have Firo quite close to his level 25 talent, where he can get the AoE Deafening Blast. Seems like everyone might... Ooh, Yapster's actually going to be going for the Aghanim Scepter. I very rarely see that in competitive play, just because it's Nurse Spirit, it's like the 5th item that you get, you know, and it usually don't get that much harm. But that could be a good way for you to be able to siege high ground and find that sort of quick pickoff.
Yeah, there's all these other items you normally need to get. The Blink Dagger, even for the early game, they use like a nice utility item. But if you can, blink and stone someone and like kick them out, looking at like the Lone Druid or the OD, push them into your own team, suddenly you've got a really, really powerful initiator in Yapsor in the late game. Right now, the vision for Cloud9 is just getting taken away ward by ward. They've only got the one. They've still got the one ward up on the bottom side of the map, but it's as well as the one to the north near Roshan. This is important. That Bears are going to be trying to go for this Rosh fairly soon once it comes up, so they have to kind of keep active on the map, keep these lanes pushed out if they want to contest it. They may just be taking the approach that they'll defend high ground though.
This cliff ward, all important against Adam's gem that he's picking up. Some of Bears on the map thanks to that ward, so they're going to push out, get some farm near the bottom half of the map, farm up some Ancients, probably stop this push in from... Oh, he has an option in the corner.
He's well and truly recovered from his bad laning stage, and that of his is no longer showing as he pokes up towards that top net worth spot. Not quite there yet. Lone Druid still holding that one. Lone Druid close to 6-slotted, still has the Helm of the Dominator, which presumably is going to look to replace in the late game, but has picked up a new Daedalus, so we'll have Daedalus, a little bit shorter buyback, but should have that before the next fight. Come, Bears.
Oh god, staying on the high ground, seeing if they can get that sneak initiation onto Baby Knight, and they've got it with a Deafening Blast over the top. Baby Knight goes down to half health before he's finally able to pop his BKB. Fada looking to pursue, he's thinking about it, decides against it though, does not push to high ground and risk potentially getting caught there and unable to time lapse that strike. Getting a bit of vision, but in the end the smoke rotation just costs OD a BKB charge, and that's
Yeah, Fata uses his BKB there as well. He's down to 5 seconds. Both carries down to 5 seconds, so kind of at that point where any BKB, even for like a small thing, doesn't really matter since it is at that lowest duration, duration, but shorter cooldown.
I have to wonder. They see Firo TP bottom. Would you feel comfortable if say you see Firo at bottom? You know he's pretty quick, but you know he does not have the boots to travel. You just 5-man shout real quickly, see if you can catch someone from Bears, and they kind of do just that. They managed to get Forev inside the Pit of Malice, but he does have the Stampede too. He's holding on to it for now. He actually is gonna turn around for Staff Baby Knight in deeper. They do manage to get the stun, and Firo's gonna be here soon. Forev now pops that Stampede, does have all that damage reduction, so Baby Knight's really not doing that much to Forev at all. Fought a battling between Noya and Hesijo, does manage to get off the time lapse. OD taken out. Looks like did he hit the blade mail? Adam on the side. Oh no. Dark Rift out. Save them all. All right, they get a couple out, but Ace, as well as our OD and Rise are all going to be falling here.
Oh, the blade mail timing. He got it on the Sanity's Eclipse of the OD. That demolished Baby Nine.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
He stole so much hitting him at the start of the fight, and then that Centaur said, "That's all according to my plan."
I mean, you could see Forev very clearly could have just stampeded early on. He could have blinked out. I think he used his Force Staff offensively on Baby Knight while he was being pursued, trying to get that hero out of rotation. He was like, I'm good with you guys going on me because I know Firo has his boots to travel back thanks to the Octarine core. He beat into mid lane. He's going to be here soon and we can fight.
Well, that'll secure them, Roche. It's big kills. Again, it's not the racks they were perhaps thinking you'd maybe normally get it by killing 2 carries, but that is, again, goes back to the Lone Druid talent. Also the fact that they just are wary of those buybacks. Rather take the Aegis and Cheese and now go for that high ground push. But is actively 6-slotted now with the Aegis in the mix, and he is very scary. Double damage is still up and could potentially help them secure some racks here.
Keeping all the lanes pushed in. Bears are not going to rush the high ground whatsoever. I gotta say, I'm a big fan of the way that Bears plays so controlled. You know, we talked about, I think, the SF game. That was the first real good show of a lot of subtlety from Bears in the way they were able to play quite disciplined and play from behind and play around one hero, understanding timings very well. And here's another example. They should, in theory, have an advantage to just go 5-man high ground and see what happens. But instead, they're getting the chip damage done. They're just kind of moving C9 around the map and slowly but surely taking these range rexes.
Yeah, they could, like you say, they could just 5-man down a lane, but that sets C9 up to fully execute their draft, to hit their teamfight combos, to position around that push. Instead, Fanta with Aegis, it's a tier 3 tower and almost a melee racks.
Fanta forced to BKB.
But this is still down at the top.
Yeah, Spirit Bear actually goes down. Fana looks like he caught by the multicast. He does end up losing his Aegis, but Firo has taken the range tracks, has threatened Hesijo already, brought him pretty low earlier, and does get a little bit of damage. Oh, Hurricane Pike pushes Noya away from the stun. Oh, Fana, he's so close. He's going to get saved out for the shallow grave. There goes that time lapse. Actually barely makes it out of that Pit of Malice, but back over to top lane. There goes that melee rags. To and fro. Forev now jumps in as well. He's going to join in on the pushing action. Nice 2-man hoof stomp. Trying to finish up those ranged raxes with the Forge Spirit. Pops his Blade Mail. Baby Knight can't target him anymore. Back to bottom lane where Firo comes in with a big meteor blast. Hits Noya back into it with a deafening blast. Forev now, he pops the Stampede. Is going to run over Noya. They managed to catch a couple there with the Pit of Malice, but C9, they need to make this team fight work for them because they're getting picked apart this whole entire time. A buyback there from Noya, but Bears, they can play the patience game here. Sit back and wait. The Dazzle's not here. They've got all the other lanes pushed in. It's just bottom that's left.
Yeah, they are just splitting apart C9. That was one of the most well-executed split pushes I've seen, and Bears right now have themselves in a position to take game 1 of this series after a very, a slightly shaky early game / laning stage, but that's very much the Cloud9 way. They really pressure you then, and they're showing great composure to bide their time, wait till they hit their critical level and item timings, and they took the key fights against Cloud9.
There comes the remaining heroes of Bears. Adam is an essential part in some of these dives, especially for Fada. So they're kind of waiting out for him. Another Tornado EMP with a Sunstrike brings Ace down to half. Firo still able to get away. The Pit of Malice held him in, but it's the Lincolns that prevents any further control.
He's got 9k gold. He can get that backpack refresher if he wants. He's very, very farmed all of a sudden, and this last lane of racks could be not long for this world. With the Aegis down though, have some second thoughts from Bears as to how to approach this push. They're not actually split pushing, which is where they found their success the other time, but with only one lane of racks to go for, it does seem like they're more focused. Okay.
Ace just burst down YapzOr here in the low ground. Now he's going to turn against Farev, but oh god, he just hit the blade mail. Farev gets a lot of damage back to Ace, not quite enough to finish him off though.
Okay,
Bears,
that Rapier came out of nowhere.
Turn around, do manage to get a good Ice Wall onto Hesta Joe. He'll receive a Hurricane Pike. Friendly save from Baby Knight. Now Baby Knight jumps forward here, but doesn't have his BKB activated. So Farev, oh god, they just hit the hoof stomp, but he dies just like that to Fada. It's all up to Ace now with no buyback onto Baby Knight. Ace is going to have to do it all with his Divine Rapier and only 800 HP. A pull back there. Noya receives a Hurricane Bike, but here comes the Dampening Blast, and that's it. They catch him. They take that Divine Rapier off the deck. Someone can grab it, but GGs have already been called by Cloud9. C9 had a 10,000 for their early pushing, their early 5-manning, but again, Bears show the strength of will, the constitution to be able to survive through all this early game pressure and come out in the mid to late game.
Yeah, I mean, the cores just are so good at finding their right timings. I mean, Firo dies once the entire game, Fata only the 2 deaths. Like, these two players were just so instrumental in just stalling when they needed to, but just avoiding fights around towers that couldn't be defended. There were a couple really good initiations from Forev, which just bought some times. The consequent the pickoffs from Firo, where he was just getting Sunstrikes off of the Centaur stuns as well. Just constant pickoffs. It felt like that Bears were getting in the mid game when C9 were meant to be strong. They delayed their timings, but the biggest play is still that Roche fight cap. That was where things really got tipped upside down for Cloud9.
sure, so instead they're going to go for it. The Rubik, a little bit more of an open support hero, gives you a lot of options.
We'll see if that's going to be for Yapso or for Adam as time goes on with the draft, but for now, not too much telling from Bears. Darkseer has been one of probably the more successful heroes in this DAC qualifiers and can pair up with plenty of different options, something that does allow Forov to really be aggressive, contest the lane, something that he really likes to focus on and does very well, is playing that more aggressive style offlaner rather than kind of like the farming style, and D9 have to either address that or make up for it somewhere else on the map.
Shadow Fiend.
9 just
Radiant
don't
team
seem to know
back.
what to do. They're going to go for the SF here for Baby Knight. So a nice scaling mid still offers you the right kind of team fight. It does seem like if when it comes to mid lane cores, SF is probably one of the biggest open. You know, it keeps your draft relatively open, right? You can run a push strat, you can run a lot of aggressiveness with an SF because of his team fight power, but you can also still rely on him when it comes to mid to late game.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Cloud9 have been preferring this over here as like the sniper with the Ogre lately, just because Baby Knight seemed a bit more comfortable on it, and they seem to like how the SF team fight plays out for them. And it gives them a bit more like early game than a sniper. They are a team who really like to prioritize winning those early fights and taking those early objectives. Time and time again, we see it, and
5 seconds remaining.
see that once again from them here, as Bears will at least now know what the enemy mid laner they're going to be going up against is going to be. But similarly, Cloud9 can now look to protect the SF and ban out some of the annoying mids for him, but just an Ember ban for now, something that Bears have played, and the Jug banned out by Bears.
Now, SF can't be completely well-rounded. There's got to be some weaknesses in there. So, Gods, if you see this SF and you're thinking about ways to be able to counter the Cloud9 draft, what weaknesses do you see in SF, and how do you poke at those?
His first biggest weakness is his level 1, but that's kind of always been, that's already been made up for by the Ogre pick a bit, since Ogre likely to be camping the mid lane. I guess his next biggest weakness is just going to be if he gets forced into like an early BKB, so having like a big team fight or good initiation, like some magic damage burst, like the Invoker Centaur like we saw last game, that kind of a style where you can initiate on the SF, force him into that BKB build, which typically you don't necessarily want to go or want to go early on an SF. So I think for Bears, getting like a good 4 position initiator, perhaps, or something that can contest the lanes, is going to be probably one of the key things as far as beating the SF.
I like that. I like any sort of heavy ganking and initiation power against an SF. Just, it is dangerous to slow roll your team fight power into an SF and let him get off that ultimate. So you can force him into that. As you said, the earlier BKB timing, forcing him to use that BKB in the beginning of a fight, I think you stand much better odds against that hero. Bears are going to ban away the Juggernaut, safe lane Juggernaut, as well as the Chen, so stopping more of the pushing power of Cloud9. Jug is kind of one of those cores that facilitate pushes, so Bears are still wary of that even after beating Cloud9 in game 1.
They just don't want to traverse some of these annoying pushes, and again, Cloud9 wary of the Queen of Pain will ban that out again. It's another, probably one of the weaker matchups for an SF to have to play, and also here we've seen a few times from Fata going into that late game Blade Mail Octarine build. Does feel like in general Bears are picking up 2 good scaling core heroes for both Fata and Firo based on the games we've seen so far, and based on the fact that a lot of their games are going into the later stages. Their early game isn't necessarily their forte.
You know, the Vengeful Spirit was actually still out there in the pool. That was one of the 1-2 bans, right? We had it was Slordar Venge.
That's right.
Was that Bears banning it, or was it Cloud9?
That was Cloud9 banning those 2.
I was about saying, this time around, Bears are the ones who take away the Slordar, probably because of the first pick. But it's kind of interesting that Venge wasn't actually grabbed here. Cloud9 could still run it as some sort of safe laner if they really want to get super aggressive, and also as a support save for the SF. So I kind of feel like that'd be an okay opener. Nice synergy with minus armor.
For now, Bears get the Bounty Hunter and looking to be disruptive. So there's Yapso's hero. And we'll put the Rubik onto Adam, and this gives them that pesky early game hero that can try and bully the SF a little bit. and just give
Reserve
them that,
time.
probably some kind of scouting potential for their big initiation, like the Darkseer Vacuum plus whatever kind of carries they're going to be running with it. Their team fight's going to be set up by this Bounty Hunter and his positioning.
Does mean Cloud9 have to worry about, because the Ogre is going to be securing the SF in the laning phase. It does make them kind of worry about the safe lane and how that's going to go. You need probably a tier support if you're going to deal with Darkseer Bounty Hunter presence. Very notorious, the Ion Shell on top of an Invis hero, and then being able to have that Dota slow and Orb of Venom to allow the Darkseer to also close the distance with that hero. It's a tough lane to work, and I think that's why in part Cloud9 are going to get a safe lane hero that has a whole lot of self-sustain, is able to usually 1v1 or 1v2 these sort of situations, and maybe their other support isn't even going to lane. He'll be putting pressure on the bottom lane and mirror Barris' strategy. So I like this Necrophos.
Yeah, and this is a hero that will give them that pseudo 5-man if they want to take that approach again, but it also scales very well. Necro can get a lot of benefit from items, and these 3 heroes so far that Bears have aren't really all too dangerous for Necro. The Iron Shell is good magic damage to go through the Ghost Shroud, but it's really like the disable into burst damage you're worried about, the Invoker type heroes. But burst damage is likely to come out from either the mid or the safe lane, so there is still plenty of room to adjust to this Necro pick for Bez. But as it stands, Necro, SF, decent dual core, and even though Cloud9 revealed their draft, I do like the two.
At this point, trying to think of any of the mids that have left that we've seen them pick up, and it was like Quap and Ember Spear, but both those were banned away by Cloud9.
Yeah.
Probably anticipation of a Necrophos pick in some ways.
Could just go straight back to the Invoker. Like it worked pretty well last game. It was up against an Ogre then as well, but Mirana is going to be the option.
Pick.
Yeah, I think when it comes to early pressure in magic damage, Mirana, Puck, those are the kind of mids you're going to be searching for. But I am surprised. I when you said Invoker, I was like, yeah, they dealt with the push lineup before, right? So probably run the
10 seconds
Invoker
remaining.
again. Maybe it's in some part because of the lesser initiation, and they have a bounty hunter, right? So it means you want to make sure you want to facilitate early game aggression as much as possible. Otherwise, bounty hunter by proxy just looks like a really crappy hero. You need other heroes to make that bounty hunter work.
Cloud9 pick a forgotten offlane in Batrider. This poor fella has not seen any play in Europe, feels like, over this last week or two, but this used to be Hestajo's best hero if you go way back to when they were playing as Team Imperial. They were running this first pick Batrider. They were the ones doing the Batrider Centaur strats, and
5 seconds
we'll see them go back to the Batrider for this game, giving them a clear initiator and a clear way to set up and start fights, blink lasso, Reaper Scythe, get that first kill, and then turn it into a 5v4 from there. And a pretty good hero to match up against this Bears draft so far. None of these 4 necessarily cause too many problems for a Batrider.
Yeah, they, especially because they still have a safe laner yet. There's not going to be any kind of saving hero. There won't be a counter to the lasso unless there is a really unique safe lane hero that I haven't thought of that it's going to be picked by Bears. Batrider should be able to always be able to get his blink in lasso, and maybe he'll be disabled from there, but there won't be anything to stop that lasso from occurring in the first place.
So Cloud9's last pick, most likely the Rise hero. We'll see what that's going to be. Disrupt is something he's played quite a bit of. That's still in the pool against the Darkseer. Gives him a bit more team fight as well, but plenty of options as far as that 5 position support goes, depending on what gap they feel they're most missing here. And yeah, I'm curious to see what that Bears carry is going to be. I feel like that's the big pick still remaining in this draft. Like at this point, Cloud9 have more or less revealed everything. Okay, there's a disruptor, a 5 position support, but Bears' draft, like it's like can go anywhere with this carry. Like you can get something early game, you can go for the late game, get something that's going to scale well. That's typically what Bears do, but with the bounty hunters you mentioned, they've even gone the Mirana. Perhaps they are thinking a bit more early mid game focused.
What about a diffusal blade hero? That is one of the big problems with Necrophos. You may have some magic damage, but you still have generally problems with that Ghost Shroud. Doug's gone.
Slark is not a diffusal hero,
magic
but
damage.
Yeah, more magic damage. They've actually got a ton of magic damage to this Necro and his Ghost Shroud right now between, the Mirana, the Slark has some good magic damage, the Shuriken from the Bounty, the Iron Shell. It's a hero that also uses the Iron Shell. I think that's, to me, one of the important things with the Slark. Like, right now, they can use the Iron Shell in the early game to pressure lanes with the Bounty. But come mid game, like when they carry, when he comes online, I feel like you want someone who can be Iron Shelled up and have that extra bit of damage output.
The perfect hero, right? Early magic damage, uses the ion shell, still scales late game, so we're not under that pressure of like, oh god, we don't really have a pushing hero, but we have to make this early game work. I think it kind of checks all of the boxes
10
that
seconds
we
remaining.
needed. Also, a hero that deals with Batrider. That was also a big problem, is that offlaner
5 seconds
is
remaining.
oftentimes having a suffocating presence, and you only have the Rubik to protect you, most likely, if they want to this BH Darkseer combos. I think it was the perfect pick for Bears, but will it be enough? Because I still look at Cloud9's lineup, it does seem rather threatening. More team fight power and less pushing power than last time, but it is, I think, a similar strategy.
Yeah, as much as Cloud9 normally a team who does really well in the early game, I feel like this is the game where Bears need to have better early game. They've got the Darkseer Bounty Hunter, and I feel like if they're not having a good laning stage, their lineup doesn't come back in the same way it did last game. Last game, they just kind of sat around, farmed their jungle for a little while, gave up a tower hero there, and just wait till Weaver and Voka hit all their key items. This game, I feel like, play to get back into the game isn't through farming and efficiency, it's through fighting. Did you crash? Oh. Oh. All right, let's. So apparently, I just got messaged by Baseskip that this Necrophos is 0 and 5. I imagine it's just in DAC Europe. But I mean, the more I think about it, I'm like, yeah, I haven't seen Necrophos win games. I always feel like some games it's done alright, but at Finham played it at least one of their games. We saw it in one of Cloud9's losses as well. But yeah, that's not exactly the best. It's one of those heroes which had a ridiculous pub win rate, and I played a bit. I remember you telling me I was actually, because you said so. Like, we were at we're at one of the events, ESL, I think. Yeah, and you were saying how you'd been trying out the Necrophos, doing some more against Mirana, and then one game I just tried it and it was ridiculously good. But it seems people now are used to versing it, and it doesn't seem to work as well anymore. Now that people understand how Ghost Shroud works. Yeah.
You could see
30 seconds to battle.
And I'm going to get his first Iron Shell go scouting into this top rune where currently no sentries are put down. He has full vision of Rise, and this is not looking like the bounty rune that Cloud9 will be able to secure. Potentially another a triple bounty rune coming Bear's way.
I cannot believe it worked.
Even get some experience for that one too. Adam will get the bounty rune as well, so gets even worse for Cloud9. In fact, and that's more or less a solo kill for Adam. He's just in there deep by himself, gets the bounty rune, gets a kill for his team. Boy, that's a dream start, and Yeah, I'm definitely with you about the Dust. Instead, they went for they got 4 sentries at the start instead. But I feel like Dust is so good for killing bounties with that movement speed slow if he goes in biz to try and escape. Although he has gone for the level 1 boots, which with the Dark Seer is a very strong option. He's going to be right from the get-go level 1 pressuring Ace. Ooh. Yeah, sometimes it's quite hard to get those early levels. Like getting a fast Janata can be very useful in a Dark Seer type dual lane. So liking this from Bears is small little bit of efficiency, and there's no reason you have to be dominating from level 1 as a Dark Seer bounty. You can wait till it's like level 3 Iron Shell to go for it. Yep. He's just trading hits with the support, knowing they're about to shrine up as well, so just small kind of efficiency plays from Bears. But Fata himself, he's unfortunately not able to be too farming efficiency. He's being zoned up by an Ogre. At least catches a neutral creep with an arrow, so gets a bit of farm and XP there. We'll see whether or not Bears have any solution to this mid lane. For now, it feels like they're just going to keep the pressure up at top, and Forev could look for this kill. They spot the ward coming out. They know exactly where that is. I'll be an easy D ward and possibly a kill onto Rise.
That should help.
Janata too.
I've returned to the grasslands of my home.
That hurt. I fall in service. There shall be Schenkers by the acres.
Yep. Yeah, you're a safe laner getting a solo kill and getting the Death Pulse procs as well. Yep, so is in a bit of trouble here against the Hestejo. Batrider tries to go for the Ancient Suicide, but doesn't get it. Hestejo was just on the high ground, had the Rubik walk into him. Yapsor misread the situation, thought Batrider was just jungling away, but that was not the case.
So sad. Spoiled that shot.
No. Yeah, good discipline there. Kind of what they were needing, I think, with Adam's dive. They didn't have to get that kill on the Disruptor. They just had to continue and maintain their pressure, but gonna be pressure now on the mid lane. Baby Knight could be in some trouble. Yapsor's far away from the lift, and without the arrow landing. Oh, Baby Knight trying to turn it around. Misses the first race, hits the second. But I'll have to back off and shrine up, perhaps, or even Bottle Crow. He's getting a bit low here in this middle lane.
Invisibility.
I'm liking it. I feel like their side is just getting a lot more out of the lane as a result. Handy. Well, okay, then now they'll do well. I was about to say that top observer ward that Rise place has been in that top lane for an awful long time, but Adam came back, took it out, and is ready to roam back into this top lane. A decent-sized neutral stack is here, which is being contested. Both teams, and Adam, his rotation in could potentially find a kill, but Central Ward scouts him out. Yeah, and Forev took the sentry out, so the detection was gone as well. It's... Yep. Hessejoe came to the lane once or twice, put a bit of pressure on the Slark, and Slark, you can see it reflects in his CS a little bit. He's not like farming as much as Necrophos is, for example, but Slark doesn't have quite as easy a laning stage as a Necro. Any little bit of pressure is going to be hard to deal with, but now that he's level 6, he's got that easy regen, and this lane should get a whole lot better for him.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Yep. Nope. Courier will scout the Batrider movement. That's actually perhaps fortunate for them, because that Bat was rotating on Fata, but even without the Bat, they may have just killed Fata. Invised up and no detection, yeah. Bat's still here though, Hessejoe. Again, no detection. Whoa.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Bat had the raindrops, so would have blocked arrow damage and potentially even some Starstorm damage with that, so don't think that was likely going to be a kill regardless.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Oh! That is, yeah, just purge off that Iron Shell every single time. That is pretty obnoxious for a Darkseid to have to deal with. Just can't push this lane whatsoever. Yeah.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Yeah, I think the item for Necrophos fits him fine. You're a hero that wants to kind of fight early, not just farm away, and you're happy to use that creep as an aggressive utility. And we're seeing them start to pressure this top tier 1 tower now with the help of it.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
That's actually a small problem. Okay.
Coming.
Damn you!
Marana, I think you and I have a thing for each other.
Yeah, they play this early game so well in so many different ways. Not just when it comes to 5-manning and pushing and winning lanes, but helping each other out. The early moves, C9, keep Baby Knight alive and get a couple of kills on the way out. SF is happy to spam out this mid lane and maintain his level of farm. So right now things are overall going slightly better for C9 than Bears. This is definitely a recurring theme when it comes to C9 laning stages, and same for the Bears. Won't necessarily be off-putting for them, but it may kind of force them into a playstyle where they're just going to wait some of their key items. The Ags of the Marana and the Shadow Blade of the Slark. These items aren't particularly close, but they will be coming around that kind of like 15-16 minute mark, and that's where Bears will become a lot stronger.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Careless.
Radiant's top tower is under attack. Radiant's top tower has fallen.
Yeah, that's also looks like his mech completed too, so he gets a whole lot harder to kill with that Ghost Shroud mech, able to burst heal yourself back up. Not really sure Bears have the damage to bring him down unless they can get like a really good chain stun with a lift into arrow or something along those lines.
A gift from the tempest of battle.
And who, if they did get aggressive, say they do, gods, who would you like to see them gank? Do you want to put pressure on the Necrophos, or do you want to try and keep this SF down and underfarmed?
I think Ace is, to me, more the key player. Like, SF is going to have his way getting items and farm. Like, C9 are really good at protecting him, but I feel like Ace is often kind of more on his own, split pushing. He's had the one hero with him in the Disruptor, but I think like a three hero rotation with like a Bounty and Miranda could find those kills. But for now, they start off on bottom.
More TPs coming in, and the counter. YapzOr actually lasts up. That's to Joe, who gets pulled back into the arrow. Fodder with the double damage. They do manage to bring him down. 0 for 2 trade, actually, as they manage to kill the Ogre and don't lose YapzOr. There just wasn't enough sticky napalm stacks, and manages to survive through all of that. So, and the worst part is Cloud9 rotated all their heroes down here too and didn't get a
kill. Well, there's something out of the double damage rune. Moonlight Shadow causing problems once again for Cloud9, and they're all grouped up at the shrine. They can go for the group heal. No smokes available. I imagine they'll just transition back to their lanes to defend bottom, perhaps just play some farming oriented style for a little bit. They still haven't got the initiation on Fear. It does look like he's going to go for the more kind of fighting style build. Go for the Echo Saber Blink that he's queued up at least at the moment. But as a result of that bottom aggression, C9 taking advantage of having all their heroes down bottom to take the tier 1 tower.
Great play here by both teams. First of all, C9 making the rapid rotation to defend their tower. Pull back there on Noya. That'll be good. But also Adam's positioning behind the tier 1 tower to see the rotations onto the tier 2. Especially since there could have been a Blink Dagger up on Batrider. You need that advanced vision to be able to make the calls. They tried to get the quick tier 1 tower kill since they weren't going to defend bottom. Fodder's been chipping away at that one for quite some time. It's now close to deny range, but now C9 will hold that outer destruction.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
And Bounty even managed to get out after the bat rotated in with Dust, but Ace is now straight up in the mid lane. This is the C9 come to expect, where they're grouping up around these early game 5-man pushes, setting up around their kind of key early game items. In this case, it's the mech on the Ace as well as the Dragon Lance on the Shadow Fiend, and they are looking to take some early objectives. The response from Bears seems to be, for now, to split push these side lanes. Got Firo taking the top tier 1, they've got 4F farming down bottom. Not the end of the world to lose a tier 1 as long as you're getting something elsewhere on the map.
The hard work and purge creep, man. Been purging off Ace now with the bounty being placed on him all the time. Rise does get hit by an arrow, and they're ready for the rotations if an opening like that presented itself, but looks like it wasn't good enough to actually grant a kill. Darkseer EPs onto the shrine as well. That's what I liked about Bears, is that they did have a plan to get aggressive if an arrow landed.
Fast is going to get the courier. It looks like he saw it with the observer ward. He's in position.
It's
3 right clicks he needs, and nice little snipe.
Here's a first blink dagger for Hester Joe. He'll find YapzOr. It's not a monster big kill, but it is enough for Cloud9 to threaten this tier 2 some more. Oh, nice vacuum wall. Now that is not going to be a fight by any means. Nice turnaround there from Baby Knight, quickly killing those illusions. But it is, again, just a small poke at C9, trying to delay their push and allow Firo and Fada more time to farm.
That AoE damage instantly destroyed those illusions, and does look like they will have to slowly perhaps consider retreating here. Ace did hold on to the Reaper, didn't use it on the lasso target. Looks like he still has it for a bigger kill perhaps. The C9 still sit around this middle lane.
Or comes out. I'm gonna miss. Track is building up some damage thanks to the Shuriken, but that's being undone by the Death Pulses and X. So they're not actually giving themselves much of an opportunity to work with here. Hester Joe comes in once again. This time he doesn't have the lasso. Still 30 seconds left, but he does get some nice aggressive Firefly and enough pressure to allow his teammates to take that tier 2. Hopefully without getting caught. Doesn't look like Ferev has his surge ready to go, so unless Fada lands a big arrow here, but C9 are actually ready to turn. They're gonna fight. Hester Joe chasing down some. Where's the glimpse? I'm waiting for it to be laid down on somebody here, but they just can't quite get the vision with nighttime. They see YapzOr. YapzOr will be the pickup, but the kinetic field doesn't latch. He doesn't get sent that far back, and YapzOr may still be able to get ahead. It's the Reaper scythe laid down. That'll hold him in place. That'll definitely get the kill, I'm sure, but it's not a Reaper scythe kill. that is just more and more time for Firo, honestly. I would trade that
Yeah,
minutes worth of time
Dire's
for
top
Firo.
tower is under
Everything
attack.
that's happened to me in the last 2 or 3 minutes hasn't been all that bad for Bears. They've not lost any key heroes. They've had a free farming Slark in this top lane who took a tier 1 tower and almost a tier 2.
That.
He is now being hunted down with Batrider's lasso back up. Cloud9 are trying to punish this, but I was about to say this experience differential must be massive right now, and it's 4,000 XP in Bears' favor. The gold is only in Cloud9's favor in a minuscule way. It's 600 gold that they've got on top of Bears, and the experience is a big problem because of how much they've been 5-manning.
Yeah, the small gold advantage that they have could be undone by, if you look at both the mid tower that's been chipped away as well as the top tower, like those are inevitable kills for Bears. Like eventually you're going to get the right kind of positioning to take those. So if you actually make that happen, Bears are actually up in gold and experience despite T9 have been claiming so many early towers per usual.
And that experience can make a big difference. Rise was at level 7. When they turned around to chase, he didn't have level 4 glimpse. It was only level 3, really limiting his pick-off potential. So that's where you've got a level 8 Batrider. That really feels a bit lackluster as well. I feel like this is where you'd typically see like level 10, level 11 on a Batrider, which he has maxed out his Firefly, still lacking points in both Napalm and Flamebreak, and now they pick up a gem, but this gem to me suggests they're going to just continue to 5-man. You don't pick this time to split push or to farm all around the map. It does help against the Bounty Hunter, but it does feel like Cloud9 are going to maintain a level of aggression towards taking early objectives and towers.
I feel like they've almost invested into this plan so much that they just have to keep going. Got in some ways sort of a sunken cost here where it's like, all right, we're definitely behind in experience, but if we can finish off the rest of these tier 2 towers, we open up shrines with the gem, we also take a lot of map control. Maybe that's the way we can bring this farming game back into our favor.
Yeah, if they can use all this towers to actually take over this Radiant jungle, because I think at some point their lineup isn't going to be able to break high ground. That's for sure. They do not have heroes, even with an Aegis, to threaten high ground. So at some point they have to fall back and play the farming efficiency game, whether that involves things like Midas's. Don't think so really. They haven't really got the best Midas heroes, or just trying to play map control, get wards up, use this gem to deny your opponent's vision, and take fights based on what vision you do have, because that seems to be the approach they're taking now.
Wow. That Radiant scan, it almost lasted long enough to be able to get the successful read on C9 here. Hesta Joe, they're actually going to get arrow lands on Ace. Hesta Joe, his smoke is pop, his health. Bears are going to try and come forward here with the Moonlight Shadow. Berev throws out the backing wall. Nice, into the corner there. They're going to be clapped up by Roshan as well, so slowing down that retreat. Baby Knight again on point. Hero's actually going to jump up onto the cliff area here, trying to catch Hesta Joe. Hesta Joe is low. Nice telekinesis toss back into 4 as well. Hesta Joe still surviving, has the track on him. Firo's going to go for this kill with his ult, but he'll pick that up. Baby Knight lets loose the ult, but Firo's already away, so they're going to have to get at him instead. Gem.
On Urga.
On over. Sonoya did manage to pick that one up, and that's how they got the bounty hunter kit. Well, Ana just TP's back,
Radiant's
so...
middle tower is under attack.
And just good chip, constant chip from Bears there to delay the Roshan. I mean, they throw a vacuum wall, not really to initiate off of, but again, just to do a bit of damage, buy some time, try and force them to get out of that pit, and a small little fight breaks out, which is just the 1 kill. And even if Bears don't contest this next Roshan, which they still might do, I still feel like just delaying that Rosh by like a minute or 2 is a win in itself. But yeah, they'll come back towards the pit. Hesta Joe, he's got the gem back in his hands, and we'll find Adam.
Adam bounces that shuriken between the two, trying to run himself away. He's got the movement speed, but he can't outrun Glimpse. He'll be stuck in the kinetic field. Fada and Firo again with the split pushing during that time.
Yeah, I mean, it's still a Bears team who probably aren't too concerned with an Aegis at this point. They know what their high ground defense is like. They also know they can constantly split push with Mirana and Slark. Dota almost has a blink dagger to go with his Aghanim Scepter, and he's now chipping away at this bottom tier 1. There's a cooldown on Lasso, so that death on Adam's Bounty Hunter, it's not really all too bad when it gives you some freedom in your course to split push these side lanes. Without the Lasso, getting kills comes down to the Glimpse at that point, which is one less tool for Cloud9 to play around.
Yeah, Fada's not really scared because if it's just a glimpse, right, he can just leap at the first sign of aggression and pop Moonlight Shadow. So it's the lasso that would have kept him from pushing that tier 1 tower. In the end, they do manage to pick that one up top lane. Ace, this is a very big kill. He does still have the Guardian Greaves. Firo pops the early ultimate here to make sure he does not drop below half HP. He's going to go back in, hits another pounce, trapping in Ace. They need the rotations out from Cloud9, they just aren't getting them. Ace throws out a Reaper's Sight just to be able to slow down Firo and hopefully get back, but he just can't get there in time. Rise was almost there with the Kinetic Field Static Storm, but now he may be caught as well. Firo has his Blink Dagger up in 5 seconds time trying to chase him down, but won't find him. Cloud9 have smoked up on Hesta Joe, but I doubt they're going to make anything happen about Ace on the field. Batrider tried to catch Firo with that smoke. That doesn't actually result in much. If anything, Cloud9 are going to be able to make the turnaround here. An arrow landed on the Baby Knight, so they quickly jump forward. Kill Hesta Joe. Yaps over the soul. Requiem does get a lot of damage out onto Cloud9 as well. Plus the damage reduction. C9 cannot fight this one. The BKB is going to wear low here on Baby Knight. Now Firo and Fada both jump back in with their Blink Daggers. Bears are just completely outmaneuvering Cloud9. An arrow actually misses on the Aegis Revive, but Baby Knight, he's kind of stuck here anyway. Maybe explosion damage, Ace can get a kill, but he doesn't have the Reaper's Sight, so even as the SF dies, Bears are still healthy enough. Ace can't do anything, so he's just come back and died almost immediately. Runs around the shrine, is going to activate it, but he's still 5 seconds left until the Reaper's Sight is up. I don't see him surviving long enough.
Yikes.
So.
That full-on team wipe there, I believe. All 5 going down throughout the course of that one. Losing your gem as well makes it an additional 1,800 gold swing. Best case scenario for Cloud9, they
A gift from the tempest of
have the room to lose like a single fight this game, it felt like, based on the way they were playing. Going for this big, heavy emphasis on 5-manning down towers. They were already giving up so much farm and XP to all 3 cores on the Bears side through the split push, and suddenly we're looking at very poor Batrider. He invested heavily to have that gem. That was his money that was going into that one, and he's as poor as the Rubik right now. You've got 5 very farm cores and then a big drop-off down to what are effectively the 5 supports at this point. And Pharaoh, he's not done. He finds another kill, a warding disruptor. Punished. They know exactly where that ward is to deal with using the newly acquired gem on Adam.
Use the blade up next for Firo, so he is going to try and counter that Ghost Shroud. The SF is the only threat, I think, for Bears, and they've just played kind of in and out game against him. Slark pounces in, forces the BKB, and then he'll run away with his ult 1.5 the time, and Fada will blink back in once the BKB is down. They're just playing time. They know they have late game with the Slark as well. Slark and Darkseers scale really well, and they also still have a really nice peak with this going in the next 15. With the Zaganins, Blink to travel, he has all his farming items, and to the next items we'll start seeing some out of him, whether that's more magic burst, which might be preferred against the Necrophos, or physical damage. Either way, Mirana still has yet to hit her peak.
Absolutely. Still lots of room for her to grow item-wise. I think this is a game where Linken's are going to be super valuable as well. Once you have Linken's in the playing field, Batrider becomes... He's just not going to be a hero this game. It looks like Slack is building one next. I think even Mirana could consider on getting multiple Linken's is totally fine, because all of the catch comes from single target initiation in the Glimpse or the Batrider. So, and then often that finishing blow from the Necro, the Reaper, is another potential spell to block as well.
Radiant structures are fortified.
And trying to finish off his tier 2 tower. Fada is just going to go for the push into the high ground, instantly eliminating the creep wave. That chip damage. So while they may have gotten that tier 2, it cost them a lot of map control, and there's still another tier 2 left to opening up those shrines. And we said, you know, Cloud9's their idea was to be able to finish up the rest of these tier 2s early and use that gem to control the map, as well as take out the shrines, and then maybe from there Bears can't actually farm the same way that we have split pushes. But Bears have gotten to a place where they can now fight in. There's the jump in, force the BKB. There's a wall, vacuum as well out from Ferret. There's a disruptor, static storm holding him in, but They're actually knocking enough damage to kill for Rev. He's going to Guardian Greaves up and run away. C9 did not have Ace in that fight, nor did they have Baby Knight outputting a whole lot of damage, as he was too scared of Firo in the beginning. 13-9, nothing really comes of that engagement, but another BKB charge down for the SF.
It really is the game plan, just hit and run on the SF. And like the Saka's first pick, I was thinking in my head, like, okay, Saka's great against all these heroes. Is he really good against SF with the Rec Room? And then the more I thought about it, like, we have not seen good, like, SF for BKB Rec Rooms for the most part. We've seen a lot of SF picks. Requiems have not been getting many kills. Most of the time they're defensive or used in zoning ways. It's hard to reliably actually hit heroes in close range. Now that we're not really seeing that like blink build to go with like an initiating stunner as well. So as it stands, more likely than not, it'll just be kind of defensive Requiems from Baby Knight using it to apply the slow and the damage mitigation. But this is becoming more and more problematic because Batrider is not going to be like a real damage dealing core. The SF. And the SF really has to be all their damage. Necro has no damage either. He's gone. I mean, he's gone for like a pretty standard Necro build with Pipe as well. But the end result is that all their damage comes from SF.
I knew you wanted to be Trixie Yapsor. He had the stolen last, so he's going to go for the kill on Rise, but this will result in a turnaround. Cloud9, we're all nearby. There goes the vacuum. Reaper's Scythe finishes off Rise. Firo came in from the side with the help of Fada. They do manage to take down the Ogre. Baby Knight runs into the arrow here, doesn't get the BKB off in time, and they're going to try and go for him a little bit. And Lasso onto Fada, though. They're actually in a bit of trouble. If Fada can get out, he's good. Now Firo lays into Baby Knight with his right-click damage. He pops the ultimate. Baby Knight's down to half health, and Ace and Hesta Joe need to try and help him out. The wall goes down. Baby Knight gets eliminated by Firo and his own illusion. Rev stuck inside the fire with his palm stacks, but it's still not enough. A jump forward. Hesta Joe can't quite catch him. Adam maybe drop. Flame Break is going to take him out, but Rev is going to get away. Now the bounce back in. Firo has all these stats upgrades. Immediately manages to defuse a blade off the Ghost Shroud. Ace is not going to survive, and Firo just keeps on marching forward. The stun goes down. Instantly taken on by the Dark Pact. They'll finish off Hesta Joe and wipe Cloud9, I think, from this existence. I'm not sure if Rise died early in that engagement or not, but either way, multiple kills going the way of Firo. His Lincolns rapidly approaching.
Yeah, Rise was that opening kill at the very start, and that was a second full team wipe of the game. Firo well and truly online, becoming a huge menace to deal with. He's about to reach his level 20 talent as well to get even more stats. He's hunting for the Disruptor. He knows Disruptor doesn't have many friends, and he needs a couple more right clicks. He gets it! Oh, just in time. That's brutal. That
team wipe time too. All right.
Yeah. There are good people in this world, and there are slack pickers in this world.
138 agility. Think Slark's not a building hitter? Wait. Once a team fight like that happens, he beats down towers real quickly.
Yeah, as tanky as an SF can be, you don't want to be too tanky against the Slack if he's wailing away on you, because he just builds up those stacks. And same story with the Necrophos. Fairly tanky, take a while to bring down, but the end result is Firo walks away with a absurd amount of agility to play around. They could theoretically even try and use this to take another engagement here, and they are grouping up around this mid lane.
Firo jumps on a Baby Knight here. Baby Knight already down to half health. Does have the BKB though. Yada jumps forward, throws an arrow out from the tree. Surprise. Noya lands that one. Hesta Joe's going to try and respond with the lasso, but this opens Firo to make his initiation onto Baby Knight once again. These heroes from Bears, though, seem to be too tanky. With the BKBs, Ace can't lay down that Reaper Scythe. He blows it down right as the BKB wears out, but it looks like Fauna still managed to survive through it. A pullback there. Glimpse Static Storm completely misses, and Firo is going to turn onto the Baby Knight SF, finish him off, get Rise as well, and probably jump for more. Gets a 4-staff, throws out the pounce, hits Ace, diffuse a blade up immediately as the Ghost Shroud is laid down, and racking up those stats. Ace gonna try and TP out, does make, but Firo up to 32. Stolen, Essence Shift, 96+ agility. They're gonna go back, maybe take this tier 2 tower at this point.
He wants to go back in the base, it seems like. He's like pinging the high ground, like, can we go again, guys? There's no SF. Like, Firo is just playing like a beast this game. The Diffusal is working out fantastic against the Necros. Ace goes back for a Ghost Scepter so that he can try and take advantage of that Diffusal cooldown, but, well, that's all happening. Another pick. Firo catches Batrider. You have a 4-second window between Diffusals where that Ghost Scepter can provide you some protection. So I guess that's the idea from Ace.
I don't think he has a better game plan. And Force Staff against the Pounce, that would be normally an escape item that Necrophos would choose to pick up. The initiation's too strong from Bears at this point, so you can't rely on a Blink Dagger either.
And he also just needs items now. Like, you can't look to save up for like some kind of big item like a Shivers or an Ag Scepter. It feels like you only have 2k gold. It's like, well, we're losing fights right now. I can't save for something big. I've got to buy whatever I can. So, I mean, Ghost Scepter kind of hits that price point, but Firo not done. Zervoid finds him another kill. And there's a Lincoln Sphere on Firo, meaning he can really engage into whatever he wants at this point without too much fear.
I just need to sit back for a while, let these innocent stacks just go away, because Firo's just maintaining a constant 90 to plus 100 agility.
Yeah, it has not gone down since that first big team fight, and Firo finally settle. It looks like he's going to use it, or the waiting away Essence Shift to help take Roche down. But I think, as you said, Cloud9 just want to sit back and they're chilling. They're like, alright, we just got picked off like 10 times in a row right outside our base of this Slark. Let's hide in our base for once. But problem is, hiding in your base means no contest on this Roshan.
I'm not even sure if Firo needs the Aegis, to be honest.
Looks like Fast is taking it.
Yeah.
Get up, and Firo, see what he wants to go for. 3.2k gold is already gone for another big item on top of the Lincolns. Oh boy.
Haste.
Not even close to being out of Diffuser Blade charges either, so he's just gonna go straight for a Moon Shard.
Oh.
Prize is mine.
Yeah. Just walking around, playing with it. His inventory for that ridiculous attack speed. Now we'll see even more Essence Shift coming his way. Does mean he has no boots, but when you're in Fog, you're at 472 anyways.
Illusion.
D9 hold up inside their base. Bears are not going to be able to find initiation, it looks like, with this smoke. We'll have to do it the hard way, pushing high ground into 5, unless Baby Knight gets caught out. Telekinesis, pullback here, but no follow-up stun. Fada on a position to get the combo arrow. Looks like he already used it on creep.
Yeah, Firo's night vision with this Moonshot's gonna be pretty absurd, so perhaps even considering waiting until nighttime to make your big plays happen, but it will then instead mean that the Aegis time is perhaps somewhat wasted, so play some incentive for Bears to try and take some fights right now, if possible.
Dire's top tower is
Filling
under
out here,
attack.
what are they waiting for? Oh, Shivas is about to be finished up by Forev with his Blink Dagger. That's a pretty big pickup.
Gotcha. Yeah, other than that, I mean, their key levels, like no one's that close to any big talents. All their 3 cores are all level 20, 22, so there's no level 25 talents coming anytime soon. Perhaps waiting for a pick-off or something, because Cloud9 have moved out and Ace will show himself at bottom. Baby Knight, but it doesn't look like anyone in the neighborhood is going to be able to do all too much there.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Area Blade coming in for Fada. That is the last item, last bit that they're waiting for. Shiva's and Ethereal Blade, fresh item pickups for Bears. They have the Aegis, they have everything they need to be able to close out this game. They're going to wrap through this area first, see if they can find anybody from C9. They may end up finding Vision. Yeah, Adam, fine. One Observer Ward.
A lot of wards in this area, so that smoke move out, at least Cloud9 got some vision, but it's vision that's going to be soon taken away. Yes, there we go, they'll get both wards, and with that, Cloud9 very blind, going to be stuck on their high ground.
Observer Ward place, immediately going to be countered, and catching Adam. That's going to be a nice pick to start this whole entire fight, unless, oh no, the vacuum downwards has pulled Ace down to the low ground. This could be a 1-for-1, but it looks like Ace is tanky enough to be able to survive through that. So a free pick for Cloud9. They catch the Observer Ward being placed, and they catch the Observer Ward placer.
Oh, the Glimpse unfortunately doesn't catch the Slark with his Lincolns, but will slow down the push, buy some time for the Aegis to wear off, and Cloud9 still in a position to hold on to their high ground here. They may have killed a bounty, but I think they still need to be very careful about leaving their base.
There's the vacuum, has to show, drop low. The Shiva's going to be able to finish him off. Firo on the back line's already taken out the Disruptor first. Deals with that AoE silence now, purging up Ace. goes the extra bit of ethereal form for Ace, keeping him alive, but they need to activate the shrine to save. He turns around Reaper's sight, but that's going to do minimal amount of damage. He's just hoping to be able to save his own life. But now an extra nuking power. The arrow's not enough. A shrine keeps him alive. Cloud9 will not utterly lose that fight. They lose some of their supporting cast, but it's the cores who stay alive, and that's what's important here.
Yeah, I mean, Ace dying there would have been pretty disastrous. He didn't have buyback as well and could have led to the